The Tyrant's Beloved Empress. Chapter 32. Stay away from the Crown Prince. After everyone had been seated, Emperor Anqing finally arrived. Emperor Anqing was a portly man in his 40s. He had fair skin and bore a long-shaped beard. The moment he arrived, the crowd immediately stood up and saluted. Emperor Anqing then waved his hand and motioned for them to sit and commenced the start of the banquet. The eunuch loudly announced for the banquet to begin. The music became lively as the palace servants formed a line while serving the guests their food. In the center of the hall, a bevy of dancers wearing thin veils over their faces bowed to the emperor before starting their performance. Emperor Anqing's interest was piqued. He leaned on the table and tapped along with the music. Anqing was not amused by the singing and dancing. Instead, he continued to pour wine for himself, one cup after another. The snow plum wine was mild and not too spicy, leaving a warm and soothing aftertaste. Anqing was very much fond of it, but after 6 drinks, Xiu Sheng took his cup away. Xiu Sheng then picked up a piece of beef cooked with orange peel and placed it in his bowl. In an indisputable tone, he said, "Don't just keep drinking, eat something to line your stomach first." Anqing eyed the wine pot that was now placed far away from him with reluctance but still obediently ate his food. Seeing that Xiu Sheng had not moved his chopsticks, Anqing served him a piece of jade green cucumber to return the favor. He smiled smugly and said, "Wang Ye should eat as well." Xiu Sheng stared at the cucumber in his bowl. This was something that he did not like to eat. As Anqing was still smiling like a little fox, he knew that this was revenge for taking away his wine. Xiu Sheng smiled helplessly and picked up the piece of cucumber to eat. Their interactions had caught the emperor's eyes. He squinted at Anqing and said, "Why is the second prince squeezed into one table with his Wangfei?" Before they could answer, they heard the crown prince laugh and say, "Imperial father doesn't know this, but Wangfei was originally arranged to be seated with the women. It's just that second imperial brother was reluctant to be apart from him and had then brought him here." "Oh." Emperor Anqing smirked as he looked at Xiu Sheng and Anqing. "If you want to sit together, so be it, but," his tone suddenly changed, "Zhen have heard that Wangfei had been quite daring lately. Didn't you purchase a vast amount of winter clothes and coal? That must have cost a lot, hasn't it? You're hoarding all these items when the winter is almost over. Zhij, no matter how much you want to pamper your Wangfei, there should be a limit." The emperor's smile had now faded. The people present could all tell that he was clearly taunting the tiger and taking the chance to find fault with the northern warlord. It had to be said that among the 3 princes, the wealthiest one was undoubtedly Xiu Sheng. From the time Xiu Sheng left the palace, he had opened many stores and over the years, they had generated a lot of profit. But this was just a trivial amount. After all, which prince did not have businesses under their name? Xiu Sheng's most profitable venture was the iron mine in Yanzhou. Yanzhou was situated along the border of the northern desert. It had barren lands and was constantly invaded by the Baidi people, making the province incredibly poor. By some stroke of luck, the northern warlord happened to locate an iron mine in Yanzhou. There were currently 3 iron mines within the whole of Dehe. Now that another was found, Emperor Anqing was naturally overjoyed. Emperor Anqing led a life of pleasure and extravagance, but the national treasury had been depleting fast year after year. Therefore, he had had his own intentions for the newly discovered iron mine. But who knew that Xiu Sheng would justify that 80% of the income should be used for the soldiers and to reinforce Yanzhou city's walls? At that time, winter had just passed and the troops had also suffered heavy casualties. As such, when Xiu Sheng had declared this proposal in court, Emperor Anqing had no choice but to cave in. However, at the same time, he etched this grudge in his heart. Even years later, every time he thought of this, the emperor became even more resentful towards Xiu Sheng. And now, hearing that the northern warlords Wangfei had spent over 1 million taels in one go, his dissatisfaction escalated. He just couldn't help but use the banquet to vent his anger on Xiao Zhiga. And Chang Qing was flustered. He wanted to rise and explain, but Xiao Zhiga held his hand and shook his head subtly. He then got up and bowed. Imperial Father, please let me clarify that that was entirely my idea. Emperor Qing raised his eyebrows. He slammed his palm on the table. Then it's even more outrageous. The crowd held their breath as they watched the event played out. A poised Xiao Zhiga went on to explain, a few days ago, when I was leaving for the barracks outside the city, I came across an eccentric Taoist monk. He claimed that I had killed too many people in my previous life and this would bring misfortune to the people close to me. To atone for the killings, I had to save thousands in order to accumulate good blessings. He foretold that Yejing would soon be hit with a winter disaster and that I should prepare for the sake of the people. The man may sound crazy, but he did not seem ordinary. I wanted to bring him back for further questioning, but he disappeared without a trace. I had a strange feeling, and half believing what he said, I ordered Wang Fei to hoard those items for the winter. Emperor Qing was a devout believer in Taoism. All these years, he had been searching on immortality and had invited countless Taoist priests to Yejing. There was even a Taoist master in the palace that refine and concoct elixirs. Upon hearing Xiao Zhiga's words, Emperor Qing was a little hesitant to discredit him. At this point, the crown prince smiled and said, "A Taoist monk who comes and goes without a shadow and could even foresee a major disaster. Such a powerful person, why didn't he go directly to Imperial Father but look for second Imperial brother instead?" Emperor Qing was indeed swayed by his words. Xiao Zhiga calmly responded, "The sin of killing is on me. Naturally, I should be the one to atone. There is no need to burden Imperial Father." The third prince smirked and interjected, "But what the monk said might not be true, there's also the possibility that he was just a lunatic. It's better to be safe than sorry." Xiao Zhiga looked at him. How would I dare to take the safety of Yejing lightly? Seeing that all three of them had a point, Emperor Qing waved his hand and said, "Forget it. Now that Hij has already prepared the items, let's just wait for the winter to pass." At his words, the princes could only back down, and Xiao Zhiga also sat back at his place. And Chang Qing was surprised that Xiao Zhiga would come up with such a story to cover up for him and even had to shoulder all the mockeries. And Chang Qing was both touched and concerned, but it was not convenient for him to talk about it at the moment. He could only place food into Xiao Zhiga's bowl to show his support. ******. An hour later, Emperor Qing brought a beautiful dancer with him to rest and dismiss the crowd. As Xiao Zhiga and Chang Qing were leaving, they met with Zhikao and Madame Li. Previously, they had arrived later and did not bother to talk to the couple, but now that they had locked eyes, Chang Qing couldn't just ignore them. Chang Qing greeted, "Father, Mother." Zhikao cast him a look of contempt before responding with an In contrast, Madame Li beamed and said, "You weren't there during the banquet." Many of the madams had heard that Xian Yu's marriage was annulled and they were very interested. A few of them seemed like suitable families. What does Wang Fei think? Chang Qing nudged his brows. He did not believe that Madame Li would find a good husband for his sister. "Oh? Which ones?" Madame Li began recalling the names. The list was of young men who had a good family background, but according to the memories of his previous life, he knew that Madame Li had picked those who were good for nothing and had a habit of frequenting brothels. "Thank you, Mother, for going through the trouble of selecting only the spendthrift well-known dandies," Chang Qing said with a forced smile. Madame Li continued to smile and said, "Which family's young master doesn't want to have fun? They'll change after marriage." Zhikao snorted, "I told you not to bother. Wang Fei is now a person with grand ideas, even his sister's marriage should be for him to decide." Chang Qing did not back down. He sneered, "But, of course. What if it's another Zhang Wanshu or Li Wanshu? Who would you cry to after the wedding? I don't need her husband to be illustrious, I only want her to find someone who can protect her." If mother is not free to do things properly, you shouldn't bother. There was a crack in Madame Li's dignified face while An Zhikao's complexion was turning dark. He glared at Madame Li before flinging his sleeves and leaving. The people watching nearby were stretching out their necks to listen, but when they saw Xiao Zhiga's cold eyes, they retracted their gaze and pretended to look at the scenery. The crown princess was watching them from not far away. She gathered her thoughts and walked towards them. And Changqing saw her approaching and promptly saluted. She smiled and said, "No need for the formality. This princess thought I could have a chat with Wang Fei today, but unexpectedly, you had gone with Wang Ye." And Changqing was unsure of her intentions, so he could only try to get along. Wang Ye was only concerned that I would inconvenience the ladies with my presence. The eyes of the crown princess wandered as she examined him briefly. She said, "As your senior, this princess should have brought a gift." According to the crown prince, Wang Fei liked the winter plum wine from the banquet and had ordered a bottle to be prepared for you. She then took over a basket from her maid and handed it to An Changqing. And Changqing thanked her, but his thoughts were stuck with the words "according to the crown prince." What has this got to do with the prince? The two exchanged a few more words and then the crown princess left. And Changqing's brows were creased tight as he carried the basket of wine in hand. Like a hot potato, he threw it to one side once they got on the carriage. He asked Xiao Zhiga with great confusion, "What is the meaning of this? Why did she deliberately mention the crown prince? And why did the crown prince care if he liked this wine?" Seeing An Changqing throwing the wine bottle aside, the gloom over Xiao Zhiga's face was lifted. His eyes darkened as he said, "The crown prince is lecherous. He's most fond of collecting beauties of all kinds." And Changqing did not immediately understand. "I couldn't tell at all. I've even heard that the crown prince and the crown princess are very much in love." A scorn appeared on Xiao Zhiga's. "He's good at hiding it and the crown princess is covering things up for him. Naturally, no one would suspect." And Changqing wanted to say something else when he finally came to the realization and his face wrinkled up. He asked in disbelief, "You mean the crown prince? He has taken a fancy to me?" Xiao Zhiga did not give him a definitive answer. He only looked at him and said, "Stay away from the crown prince in the future. He has a twisted mind." And Changqing could feel goosebumps raising on his skin as he looked at the wine from the crown princess. He picked up the basket and threw it out the window with disgust. "I will not be drinking this wine again. It's simply disturbing just to think about it." End chapter. The Tyrant's Beloved Empress. Chapter 33. Drunken Antics. And Changqing continued to feel nauseous the whole trip back to the manor. Thinking how the crown princess could still tolerate the crown prince and even deliver the wine to him, and Changqing felt that he was being eyed by a den of poisonous snakes. Rubbing his arms and pulling a long face, he mumbled, "I have to take a bath, this is making me uncomfortable all over." Xiao Zhiga smiled but quickly turned gloomy as he thought of something. After a while, he patted An Changqing's hair and said, "Go ahead. You can ignore the crown prince, he wouldn't dare to do anything for now." "What about after?" An Changqing asked with a frown. "After," Xiao Zhiga smiled confidently, "worry not, there is no after for him." And Changqing's eyes turned bright. Thinking of how this man would eventually ascend to the throne, there was indeed no future for the crown prince. He happily nodded, "I'll be taking my bath then." The hot water had been prepared the moment the servants saw their return. Soaking in the warm water, and Changqing's body was thoroughly warmed and he began to feel sleepy. Xiao Zhiga had been waiting in the bedroom for a long time but did not see him come back. Worried, he walked to the bathroom and called out to him, but he did not get a response. He hesitated, but still feeling concerned, he pushed the curtain and entered. Steam was swirling up in the bathroom. As he walked in, he saw a naked An Changqing leaning against the edge of the bathtub. Xiao Zhiga called out to him, but he remained silent. When Xiao Zhiga hurriedly pulled him up, he found that Changqing was sound asleep. Xiao Zhiga was speechless and he couldn't help raising his lips. He found a large towel to wrap Changqing up and brought him back to their bedroom. It was probably the alcohol taking effect that no matter how much Xiao Zhiga moved him, Changqing continued to slumber away. A red face with trembling eyelashes flickered over his tear mole, like the flutterings of the butterfly wings. Drying his hair and putting on clothes for him had caused Xiao Zhiga to break out in a sweat while Changqing had slept all the way through. Finally, he lifted the blanket and laid down next to him. A satisfied Changqing rolled into his embrace and buried his face on his chest. Xiao Zhiga looked at him warily and sure enough, Changqing raised his head seconds later and asked, "Why hasn't Wang Ye read to me yet?" Clearly, Xiao Zhiga had been reading to him to lull him to sleep these past few weeks. Xiao Zhiga had no choice but to start reciting texts from the book on warfare while stroking his back. Changqing made a few hums, signifying his satisfaction. But because he could feel the eyelashes flickering over his skin, Xiao Zhiga knew that Changqing was still awake, probably having some strange thoughts or intentions. He regretted for a moment for having let him drink those cups of wine. He heaved a long sigh. After a while, there was no more movement from the person in his arms. Just as he was about to confirm if he was asleep, he heard him speak softly, "You've never kissed me." Xiao Zhiga's mind turned blank as he stared at the person in his embrace. Under the influence of alcohol, Changqing was bolder and a lot more thick-skinned. With blushing cheeks, he complained, "Before, I was the one who kissed you. Now it's your turn to kiss me." He then closed his eyes and waited shyly for Xiao Zhiga's incoming kiss. Xiao Zhiga was frozen in place, but his heart was beating many times faster even than when he fought his first battle. Not getting the kiss he was waiting for, Changqing opened his eyes. Seeing that Xiao Zhiga was still not making a move, grievance filled his eyes and he stared at Xiao Zhiga with discontent. Distressed by the look in his eyes, Xiao Zhiga's Adam's apple rolled and he bent down to kiss Changqing on the forehead. Not there. Changqing was not appeased. He pouted his lips and muttered, "All the couples kiss each other on the lips. Do you not like me? That's why you don't want to kiss." Before he could finish his sentence, his mouth was blocked by Xiao Zhiga. Xiao Zhiga initially wanted to quickly accomplish the act and stop, but the lips of the person in his arms were just too sweet and tender. Like the finest of wines, once one had a taste, one would want for more. The pair locked lips for a long time before they separated due to breathlessness. They looked at each other with blushing faces and frolicking heartbeats. The alcohol had now worn off slightly, and reflecting on his previous unreasonable demand, Changqing's face turned beet red as he buried his head against Xiao Zhiga's chest. In a muffled voice, he said, "I'm sleepy." With that, he closed his eyes and eventually dozed off. Only Xiao Zhiga was left awake with a raging heart beating in his chest. Even the excitement of winning his first battle was nothing compared to having this kiss. He tried to adjust his breathing and suppress the powerful urge to do more. The person in his arms had hidden his face and only the bright red earlobe was exposed. Xiao Zhiga wasn't able to ascertain if he was actually asleep this time. He began to gently stroke Changqing's hair. His lips slightly hooked as a thought came to his mind uncontrollably: was it possible that his Wang Fei actually liked him a little? He lowered his eyes and hid away those rampaging thoughts. One day, he would make his Wang Fei forget everyone else, leaving only himself in his heart. *******. The next day was the New Year. Before dawn, a sleepy Changqing was woken up by Anfu. Anfu urged, "Wang Ye has already risen. Today you still have to go to the Imperial Palace." Hearing the word Imperial Palace, Changqing's muddled mind woke up. He patted his head and anxiously said, "Help me bathe and get dressed." According to Day's customs, a banquet would be held on New Year's Eve to award meritorious officials, and on New Year's Day, the emperor would stay in Fengtian Hall to receive blessings from his subjects. At the same time, he would also give out rewards and handwritten calligraphies of the character Fu for blessing. After bathing and changing at a rapid pace, Changqing went out to look for Xiao's Higa. Xiao's Higa saw him approaching and immediately put away his spear to pick up the fox fur coat and draped it over Changqing. Changqing saw him and turned shy when he thought of the silly things he did during his drunken stupor. "Yesterday, Wang Yet. Did you sleep well?" Changqing asked with some embarrassment. "It was fine." Xiao's Higa looked at him enigmatically and replied. Changqing couldn't deduce much from his answer, so he braced himself and said, "I'll drink less in the future." Xiao's Higa responded with an "N," but shortly after, he reconsidered and said, "It's all right to drink at home. You don't have to drink when we are out." Changqing was feeling guilty, so he nodded in compliance. The pair then left for the imperial palace. *******. On the first day of the new year, offerings were made to the heavens and ancestors. Officials also went to extend well wishes to the emperor. After entering the palace, Changqing and Xiao's Higa separated. As an imperial prince, Xiao's Higa had to follow Emperor Anqing to present offerings to the ancestors, while Changqing, as a Wangfei, had to pay his respects to the Empress and Empress Dowager. Before leaving, Xiao's Higa was concerned that Changqing would be picked on and boldly advised, "Today, the crown princess and the rest of the concubines will also be present. You don't have to speak much, just be wary of the crown princess and Shu Guifei. The Empress Dowager shouldn't make things difficult for you." Changqing nodded and followed the palace maid to the imperial harem. It was daybreak and the lights in the palace were still brightly lit. Changqing quickly swept his eyes across the hall as he followed the palace maid. The Empress Dowager was sitting at the highest seat, while the Empress, the Crown Princess, Shu Guifei, and the other concubines sat one step below to her right. The space on her left was meant for the other princesses and Wangfei. Changqing made his salutations before being led to his seat. The moment he arrived, everyone's eyes were on him. Shu Guifei gave Lady Hui an inconspicuous wink which prompted her to cover her mouth and snored, "I finally get to see Wangfei. Such a busy entity that I couldn't even get a glimpse of during the banquet." Changqing spoke with dignity. On the day of the banquet, this Changqing was with Wang Ye in the palace garden. "Oh," Lady Hui said as her nails dyed in red brushed over her sideburns, "and here I thought Wangfei was too proud to be associated with us women. This one dare not." Changqing bowed and calmly said, "It's just that even though Changqing is a Wangfei, I'm still a man. I did not want to disturb your mood during the banquet and thus had gone with Wang Ye. This matter, His Majesty is well aware." At the mention of the emperor, Lady Hui's expression dimmed and she stopped discussing the topic. Just then, the Grand Princess spoke, "Since His Majesty had approved, Lady Hui should refrain from talking about it lest you want others to think you're dissatisfied with His Majesty's decision." The look on Lady Hui's face turned ugly and she couldn't help but look towards Shu Guifei. Shu Guifei sipped her tea then said, "The Grand Princess has always been partial to the northern warlord, but I didn't think your favoritism extended even to his Wangfei." Lady Hui only made a slight comment and she was already ostracized. The Grand Princess gave her a cold look and said with arrogance, "No matter who I choose to protect, it's not your place to have an opinion." Shu Guifei was about to rebuke, but at this time, the Empress Dowager patted the table and ordered, "That's enough." End chapter. The Tyrant's Beloved Empress. Chapter 34. Former Lovers Jade Pendant. When women gather, there was bound to be bickering, especially when it involves ladies from the imperial harem. Although he did not want to partake in the charade, he couldn't let himself be trampled upon. He trod carefully with each word and pretended not to understand whenever it became unwise to argue. With the Grand Princess guarding by his side, he had managed to get by safely. The Empress Dowager was getting too old to deal with these petty scuffles. After giving out the New Year gifts, she retreated back to her palace. The people in the hall continued to chatter while waiting for the emperor's party to return. And Changqing stepped out of the hall and exhaled heavily, a mouthful of air. He was really not fond of having to deal with the snakes in the grass. From afar, he saw that the crown princess was approaching where he was with her entourage, and goosebumps began to form in his skin again. Pretending to not to see her, he turned and walked in the opposite direction. Though he managed to avoid the crown princess, he unexpectedly crossed paths with the grand princess. Having met up with her, and Changqing had no choice but to greet her politely, "Imperial Auntie." The grand princess looked at him and smiled. "Why are you hiding from me just like Xiga? Did he teach you that?" And Changqing immediately refuted, "That's not true at all. Wang Ye is very respectful of your highness, and his highness told me to do the same. You have a nimble mind and are a lot more eloquent than Xiga." The grand princess looked at him but did not reprove him for his fabricated words. And Changqing smiled and accompanied her by her side. The two walked to a small pavilion, and the grand princess beckoned for her maidservant to leave. She looked at the silent and Changqing and contemplated her words. Finally, she sighed and said, I feel bad for Xiga, having lost his mother at such a young age. That's why I've been good to him. You don't have to be cautious with me. I have approached as I wanted to tell you that if you're ever in trouble, you can come to me." She smiled bitterly. "Xiga would never come to me for help, but you're more tactful than him. What I said to you today, keep it in mind." "Auntie," and Changqing failed to comprehend as he looked at her. He could tell that her words were sincere, but her reason was untenable. The imperial bloodline had always been ruthless, but as the emperor's sister, she did not need to take sides. No matter which prince ascended the throne, she would not be harmed. Even if she wanted to curry favor in advance, her choice shouldn't be Xiao Zhiga, who by all reasons, currently had no chance of ascending the throne. And Changqing pondered thoroughly, but he still couldn't figure out her reasoning. "When the time comes, you will understand." The grand princess overcame her moment of weakness and said, "Though, I do not wish for that day to come." She turned and looked into the distance to find that the emperor's carriage was heading back. "They have returned. You should go." And Changqing bowed and bid her goodbye. Before leaving, he looked at her but only found that he could no longer read her expression. ******. Praying and offering tribute to the heavens and ancestors were complicated rituals. By the time it was over and the group could leave the palace, it was already way past noon. And Changqing spotted Xiao Zhiga from a distance and smiled at him. As he came closer, he saw that his forehead was sweating and asked, "Are you tired?" Xiao Zhiga responded with an N. He had a sturdy body, but the lack of sleep last night and this morning's rituals had drained his energy considerably. "I'm a little hungry as well," and Changqing whispered in his ears, "the women in the palace are so hard to deal with that I don't even dare to eat anything." Xiao Zhiga's lips tilted slightly. He caught sight of the crown prince looking over and turned to block in Changqing's view and whispered back to him, "We'll eat when we get back." And Changqing did not notice the abnormality. He smiled and nodded while Xiao Zhiga led him out of the palace. Only after they left did the crown prince retracted his gaze. He saw the crown princess striding over and asked, "Did you give him the wine as I ordered?" The crown princess lowered her head and said, "I did, but he threw it away afterwards." "Oh." The crown prince raised his brows. "He seems to have a backbone." "That's fine." In the future, he paused and hid his words, "What is there that I can't have?" The crown princess bowed her head, "Your highness is absolutely right." Back at the Wang Manor, and Changqing had ordered for lunch to be prepared. There were too many rules to follow in the palace that he hadn't had the heart to eat. Now, he had to fill his stomach first. After lunch, and Changqing began to hand out New Year money to the servants in the manor before finally going to Qinghua court to visit Lady Yuan and Xian Yu. When he arrived, he saw Zhou Helan sitting on a stool in the yard, reading. And Changqing looked at him and questioned, "What are you doing outside?" Zhou Helan replied, "Mother is talking with the madam and the young miss. To avoid misunderstandings, I stayed outside to read." And Changqing chuckled. Thinking that he was about the same age as An Xianyu, he rejected the thought of asking him to come in and said, "Then you can continue to stay here. I'm going in." Zhou Helan watched as An Changqing entered the door before closing his book. He touched his chin and murmured to himself, "I can't believe he did not ask me to come with him. It seems I've miscalculated." And Changqing went in and found that Mother Zhou was inside, speaking with Lady Yu while An Xianyu quietly sat and listened. He passed out the presents he had prepared for them and stayed for a while. When he left, Zhou Helan was no longer in the yard. After leaving King Guo court, An Changqing went to the front courtyard. He wanted to discuss the gifts they had to send out to Xiao Zhiga's associates with Steward Wang, but Xiao Zhiga came to look for him at the same time. Steward Wang knowingly excused himself and said he would come back later. And Changqing put aside his work and asked, "Does Wang Ye need something? Today is the first day of the new year, the elders should give out lucky money to the juniors." And Changqing was clueless as to why he would talk about this. Xiao Zhiga then took out a piece of Pixio jade from his sleeve. The jade was attached to a golden woven sash whose color had faded with time. /Note: Pixio is a mythical creature resembling something between a dragon and a lion with wings and was believed to be auspicious. When I was a month old, my mother had personally carved this for me. She said it could ward off evil and bad luck. After she died, my imperial father said that her death was inauspicious and everything in her palace was burned. Only this piece of jade that had been with me all the time remained. I'll give it to you on her behalf. On this rare occasion, Xiao Zhiga spoke a little more. "If mother could see you, she would surely like you." And Changqing accepted the memento. The jade was warm and smooth, clearly it had been frequently fondled with. And Changqing said with some embarrassment, "Wang Ye gave me a gift but I did not prepare anything for you. Does Wang Ye have something that you want?" And Changqing looked at him with large, serious eyes. A glint appeared in Xiao Zhiga's eyes. He pondered briefly and pointed to the twin-fish jade pendant hanging on his waist and said, "I see that you always carry that pendant with you. Why don't you give it to me?" And Changqing held up the piece of jade and rubbed it. This had been a gift from his mother on his 10th birthday. The grade of the jade was nothing outstanding, but she had saved for a long time before she could afford to buy it for him. Since then, it had never left his side. Xiao Zhiga looked at his downcast eyes and thought that he was unwilling to part with it. Or rather, unwilling to let go of the person who had given him the pendant. Xiao Zhiga's mood sank. He said, "If you're unwilling, that's fine." And Changqing was only lost in thought. Seeing that he had misunderstood, he immediately took the jade piece and placed it in his palm. "I wasn't unwilling. It's just that my jade piece cannot be compared with what Wang Ye has given. Wang Ye, won't you feel that this was an unfair exchange?" Xiao Zhiga looked down at the piece of jade and his mood lifted. There was even a smile in his voice. "No such thing. So can this be considered exchanging keepsakes?" And Changqing thought that since Xiao Zhiga's pendant was from his mother and his was also given to him by his mother, giving the item to each other seemed almost like exchanging love tokens, right? Unexpectedly, Xiao Zhiga rejected the idea instantly. "No." And Changqing gave him a puzzled look, and Xiao Zhiga turned away and said, "That's for next time." The twin-fish pendant was given to his Wangfei by another man. Although it had been passed on to him, he was reluctant to use it as a lover's token. The northern warlord then secretly planned to have Wangfei give him another piece of personal item in the future. But before that, fearing that An Changqing would regret and take back the pendant, he said, "I have something to attend to. I'm going to the study," and hurriedly walked away. He went to the study holding the pendant. After closing the door, he carefully examined the piece of jade. The quality of the jade was not good and the tassels were delicately made. Xiu Sheng quietly mocked in his heart, that young master was not short of wealth, but he gave this piece of inferior jade to Cheng. Clearly he did not value Cheng in his heart. Xiu Sheng paced back and forth holding the pendant. He wanted to throw it away, but fearing that Cheng would ask him about it, he placed it in a small box and shoved it into the bottom of the bookshelf. Out of sight, out of mind. Asterisk. And Cheng was at a loss as he stared at the pixie pendant. He thought for a long time but couldn't understand what Xiu Sheng was thinking. Could it be that he really felt that his gift was inferior? And Cheng knew that that was quite unlikely, but it still hung over him. He finally decided to find Xiu Sheng a more valuable gift next time. After all, Xiu Sheng's sullen mindset had always been hard to comprehend. And Cheng put the matter aside and called for Steward Wang in order to resume his previous work. According to day's traditions, on the second day of the new year, families would visit relatives and friends. However, if there were too many to visit, each house would hang a gift bag on their gate. Just indicate the sender and recipient, and the servants would deliver the gifts in the bag in their master's stead. Hence, every year, unless it was obligatory to visit or it was an intimate associate, most people would receive the New Year greetings and gifts this way. This was the first time Cheng had presided over this practice and asked Steward Wang to assist. Who knew that after hesitating for a long time, Steward Wang declared, all these years, Wang Ye had never sent out gifts. And Cheng was speechless for a long time and finally understood why the Wang manor had such a bad reputation. Fine. What about those that had sent gifts over? As the northern warlord, it's impossible that no one would send him gifts, right? Steward Wang was relieved, there were quite a few. This is a list from the previous years, please have a look. And Cheng looked through and it was indeed a long list. But compared to the officials he saw at the banquet, this number was sparse. For many reasons, most officials preferred to not associate with the Wang manor. This gift-sending custom should not be taken lightly. And Cheng studied the names for a while but still could not decide. He got up and said, prepare the items and greetings first. I'll discuss with Wang Ye who the recipients should be. Steward Wang bowed and retreated while Cheng went to the study to find Xiu Sheng. End chapter. The Tyrant's Beloved Empress. Chapter 35. The Young Master. Those who had sent gifts to the Wang manor in previous years were mostly military personnel. The rest were lower-ranked officials and nobles without substantial power. And Cheng studied the list and found a few familiar names. Are Zhuan Liang and Shi Zheng on friendly terms with Wang Ye? And Cheng was surprised when he saw these names on the list. In his previous life, he had stayed hidden in the Wang manor and was not informed about the court situation, but based on the fact that these two generals had helped the deposed crown prince besiege Yejing, they should be considered as enemies. And Cheng was on alert but still decided to probe, this year, should we send gifts to these two great generals? No need. Xiu Sheng took over the list, drew two big crosses over their names and explained to him patiently, our country has 6 grand marshals. Zhao Xiancheng presides over Kizhu and Suizhu. He's the Empress Dowager's brother but he's now too old to go to battle. Xueqi presides over Yuzhou and Yangzhou. He is secretly being supported by the Shu family and therefore, sides with Shu Guifei. Shen Tubei presides over Suzhou and Chenzhou. On the surface, he seems to be neutral but is actually under the emperor's command. Zhuan Liang and Shi Zheng are like the grass on a wall. They're incapable in warfare but skillful in judging the wind's direction to sail with it. These two did not want to offend anyone, so they sent out gifts to the Wang manor every year. You can ignore them. And Cheng noticed the disdain in his words for these two generals and knew they were not close. He was relieved but decided that he should still warn Xiu Sheng in the future. After taking in what Xiao Zhiga had said, and Chang Qing asked, "There's one more." Xiao Zhiga smiled, "There's also the great General Xiu Sheng. He is my mentor. The first battalion I joined was under his command." When Xiao Zhiga wanted to join the army, Emperor Qing was furious. He dictated that he could not enlist as an imperial prince, and if he died on the battlefield, his corpse would be left there to rot. Xiao Zhiga had agreed with the only request that he be allowed to join General Xiao's army. As General Xiao was known for being unbiased and upright, Emperor Qing agreed on the spot. But who knew that this was the chance Xiao Zhiga had been planning for? Since then, he was like a water dragon that entered the sea, soaring to the sky with a leap. "Then should I prepare additional gifts for General Xiao?" And Chang Qing asked. "There's no need." Xiao Zhiga shook his head. "Shifu has always been upright, he neither sends gifts nor accepts them. And on the surface, he doesn't have a good relationship with me. You only have to know this, there's no need to do anything else." And Chang Qing nodded, then pointed to the rest of the list. "What should we do with the rest?" Xiao Zhiga gave the list a quick sweep and circled out several names. "Pay no heed to these people. As for the rest, if they continue to send gifts this year, we can do the same." Asterisk asterisk asterisk. And Chang Qing drew up a new recipients list according to Xiao Zhiga's instructions and passed it to Steward Wang. Xiao Zhiga had no other close relatives to visit in person, which saved them the trouble. When Steward Wang was about to leave, and Chang Qing stopped him and said, "Prepare another portion of gifts and greetings under my name to be sent to the Grand Princess's manor." The Grand Princess's words had more or less touched his heart. Even until his death, he had never heard of the Grand Princess doing any harm to Xiao Zhiga. Since that's the case, even if they can't be close, he should still maintain a good relationship with her. It's just that sending it under the Wang Manor's name might upset Xiao Zhiga once he knew about it, so and Chang Qing decided to send it under his name. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. As there was too much idle time during the new year, time seemed to fly by faster. And Chang Qing spent his free time reading books in the study and occasionally learning a few fighting moves from Xiao Zhiga. In the blink of an eye, the Lantern Festival had arrived. On this day, Yejing would hold a grand celebration. The whole city had been preparing for it in advance, from small vendors to large businesses that even the palace guards had been dispatched to help with the festivities. Even at his age, and Chang Qing had never been to the Lantern Festival. Every year, the An family would reserve a place in a restaurant for the elders and youngsters to watch, but that never included An Chang Qing and An Xianyu. Now that Steward Wang had mentioned it, and Chang Qing was a little excited. He went to find Xiao Zhiga and placed the invitation in front of him. "It's an invitation from Wang Xianlu. They've left us the best seats. Is Wang Ye going?" Wang Xianlu is the biggest restaurant in Yejing. On regular days, it was filled with dignitaries drinking and enjoying the scenery. During the Lantern Festival, its private rooms had long been fully booked by their more important customers. It was hard to believe that they especially reserved a room for them and even sent an invitation. Although An Chang Qing was simply inquiring, his eyes were filled with expectations. Xiao Zhiga had no interest in the Lantern Festival, but he could never disappoint An Chang Qing. Thinking of something, he said, "Mother and Yuer have nothing to do in the house. Let's ask them to come along." And Chang Qing agreed and added, "We should invite Helan and his mother as well. It's rare that they get to go out." After it had been decided, and Chang Qing told Anfu to send out the message. When it turned dark, the group set out in 2 carriages and headed for Wang Xianlu. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. And Chang Qing lifted the curtain to watch the scenery and the colorful lights reflected on his face, giving it a childish look instead of the matured front he tried to put up. Xiao Zhiga saw this and said, "If you like it, we'll go every year." "All right," and Chang Qing looked back at him. His smile was brilliant against the night lights. "With Wang Ye accompanying me." Xiao Hega's fingers that were placed over his knees curled up. He stared at An Changqing and made a soft N. Carriages stopped in the entrance of Wang Xianlu while guests were flowing in like clouds, waiting for the waiters to show them their seats. An Changqing looked around and found the familiar faces. He passed the invitation to a waiter and was immediately brought upstairs. Wang Xianlu had 3 stories with 6 massive private rooms on each floor. The third floor provided the best view overlooking the whole of Yejing. An Changqing's group was led to Songtao Pavilion to take their seats. After which, a waiter served them tea and exquisite snacks. An Changqing opened the window and reveled in the scenery below. The whole city was submerged in a sea of lights. Lanterns of all colors filled his sight. Among them were 2 giant revolving lanterns with the towering height of 3 to 4 men. They were this year's Lantern King. Is the lantern race starting? An Changqing asked. The waiter serving them replied, yes. Do you want me to get you the riddles? The first prize this year is 100 taels of gold or Sir Dan Mo's original work. Whether it was the 100 taels of gold or Sir Dan Mo's work, they were both attractive prizes. An Changqing beckoned Anfu to give the invitation to the waiter, go get the riddles. Xiao Hega was curious, knows how to solve riddles. An Changqing raised his chin and said proudly, a little. Even if I can't, there's still you air. He might not be as good at learning the 8-part essay as others, but he was a keen learner and a quick thinker. When he was younger and the other children had gone to the Lantern Festival, the pair of siblings had stayed behind in the manor. In the time that no one was in the house, they went to pick up used lanterns with the riddles still left inside and had managed to solve more than half of them. The waiter brought up 10 riddles and placed them on the table. An Changqing browsed through them and did those that he could solve and passed those he couldn't to An Xianyu. After they had written down the answers, the waiter proceeded to submit their answers. There would be a ranking according to how many riddles were solved, and the one who had solved the most would win. But the riddles were divided into 5 stages of difficulty, from 1 being the easiest, and each stage had a definite number of riddles. Only by answering the most could one win the competition. Seeing how quickly they had solved the riddles, the surprised waiter said, I'll go fetch more. Then he ran downstairs. He came back shortly with a new batch of riddles and exclaimed, the previous 10 were all correct. An Changqing and An Xianyu worked together effortlessly, and after a few rounds, they heard the gong sounding and someone shouted, the Wang Manor, An Changqing, 67 correct answers, 10th place. An Changqing looked down at the ranking board and saw someone placed his name on the last empty spot. We're in 10th place. An Changqing blinked and smiled. Looking at the silent Zhou Helan, he asked, do you want to play? If we win, you can have half the prize each. Zhou Helan thought for a bit and said, Helan will give it a try. An Changqing then stopped playing and let Zhou Helan take over. ******. In the Nongxiu Pavilion on the 3rd floor of Wang Xianlu, An Xianxi rubbed her ear in disbelief. Did I hear that right? What name was called out just now? An Changqing. An Changyu sipped from his cup. He did not look happy. You've heard it right, it's him. An Xianxi twisted her handkerchief. She then pulled at the handsome man sitting in silence and said flirtatiously, Cousin Haiyun, why are you stopping? Quickly solve the riddles. Don't let that bastard son win, or else it will be so infuriating. In her fury, she did pay attention to Li Haiyun's expression. And Changyu glared at her and said in a heavy tone, Xianxi. What happened to the promise you made about your attitude before we left? And Changyu looked at his cousin, who had been in a daze ever since he heard An Changqing's name, and whispered, I've ordered someone to ask around. They are now in Songtao Pavilion, right next to us. Li Haiyun's expression changed. He looked down in a loss and said, he is now the northern warlord's Wang Fei. What can be achieved were we to meet? I can't cause him any trouble. And Changyu's eyes turned dark. The last time he came back home, his face was quite pale. His days in the Wang manor might not be good. But cousin is right, since you both are not fated to be, it's better not to meet. Li Haiyun looked up abruptly and wanted to say something, but in the end, he stooped his head and continued to answer the riddles. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. In the Songtao pavilion, and Chang Qing was still unaware that several members of the An family were in the next room. He sat next to Xiao Zhiga and watched as An Xianyu and Zhou Helan worked together seamlessly to solve the riddles. The further into the competition, the harder the riddles would get and the slower the rate it could be solved. On the chart below, the rankings had slowly stopped changing, but the two were still rolling out answers with proficiency. The waiter serving them was breaking a sweat in the winter as he ran up and down to deliver them the riddles. As he reached their room, he smiled brightly and said, fifth place. And Chang Qing gave him a small reward and continued to watch the two speedily solving the riddles. Unexpectedly, after the waiter had just left, there was a knock on the door. Anfu went to answer the door and was shocked to see the visitors. He hesitated as to whether he should let them in. First, young master Li. From outside the door came a gentle voice, I heard that cousin Chang Qing had also joined the lantern race. It just so happened that we were in the next room, so we came to say hello. Xiao Zhiga's brows twitched and he looked towards An Chang Qing, but there was no change in his expression as he said to Anfu, is that big brother and cousin Haiyun? Invite them in. Anfu opened the door and led the two people in. After they entered the door and saw Xiao Zhiga, the two men were stunned briefly before saying their greetings. Xiao Zhiga's eyes landed on Li Haiyun and the corners of his lips drooped. As in accordance with what he had heard, the An family's cousin, Li Yunhai, had a handsome face with a gentleman's demeanor. He excelled in poetry and was even better at learning the 8-part essay. If it weren't for the consecutive deaths of his grandparents for which he had to pay filial piety to, he might have already become a triple UN, the top scholar of the 3 level of imperial examinations in a row. After the mourning period, young Master Li came to stay at the An manor as a guest. Upon meeting the third young master again, it was as though he had met with a childhood friend for whom he would often write poems to. End chapter.